You ever stop and wonder what really makes the internet tick? Beneath all the flashy designs and the endless scrolling? Well, it turns out some of the most important pieces of the web are totally invisible. They're tiny little bits of code that act like ambassadors for every single web page. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on these unsung heroes.
So here's a thing we've all seen. You go to share a link, right? Maybe on social media, maybe on a chat. And sometimes it just blossoms into this amazing clickable preview with a picture and a headline. And other times, you get nothing. Just a plain, kind of sad-looking URL. What is going on there? What's the secret?
The difference is just night and day, right? On one side, you have a link that's super easy to scroll right past. On the other, you've got this rich, professional-looking card that practically screams, "Click me." This isn't some kind of internet magic. It's all about a website sending out its best representatives to make a good first impression. And the best part is, you can control exactly what they say.
And that brings us to our big idea for today, website ambassadors. Just think of meta tags and favicons as your website's own little diplomatic team. They're tucked away, hidden in the head section of your page's code, but their job is absolutely massive. They're the ones talking to browser tabs, to Google, to social media feeds. If you get them right, your site looks like a star. Get them wrong and, well, you're just another lonely URL in the crowd.
All right, let's kick things off with the most visible of these ambassadors. It's the one you see probably hundreds of times a day, maybe without even realizing it. I'm talking about the mighty Favicon.
The name really says it all. Favicon is just short for favorite icon. It's that tiny little logo that lives in your browser tab, the thing that helps you find your way through the absolute chaos of the 50 tabs you probably have open right now. But it's also in your bookmarks, and it's the icon that shows up on your phone's home screen when you save a website. It's your site's first visual handshake.
And this little icon has had quite the glow-up. It started way back in 1999 when Internet Explorer 5 used it for its favorites list. A few years later, it made the jump to browser tabs and suddenly became this crucial navigation tool for everyone. Then in 2007, Apple gave it a huge promotion with the Apple Touch icon for iPhones. And now it's an absolutely critical piece of branding for any website on any device.
So when you're making one, you've got a few choices. The classic ICO format is still around because it has the best all-around support, and it can cleverly bundle different sizes into one single file. But PNG is really the modern choice for high quality and perfect transparency. And then there's SVG. It's the future for sure, a tiny file that can scale to any size without losing quality. Support's not 100% there yet, but it's getting close.
Okay, so what sizes do you actually need to have? Here's the deal. You'll want a classic favicon.ico file to act as a fallback for older browsers. Then a 32 by 32 pixel PNG for those crisp-looking tabs on modern desktops. And for mobile, you'll definitely want a 180 pixel one for Apple devices and a 192 pixel one for Android. Those are the key for those add to home screen moments.
All right, let's move on to our next ambassador. This one has a really important job: to communicate directly with the biggest players on the internet, the search engines.
When you're trying to win at search, there's a real power duo you need to know: the title tag and the description tag. The title tag is your headline in the Google search results. It is a massive factor in your ranking. The description tag is that little summary right below it. Now get this, the description doesn't really affect your ranking, but it has a huge impact on whether someone actually clicks your link. It's basically the ad copy for your web page.
Now we need to talk about a ghost from the internet's past: the keywords meta tag. For years, people were obsessed with this thing, but then, way back in 2009, Google laid it all out with this crystal clear statement: they do not use the keywords meta tag for ranking at all.
So what happened? Well, back in the day, old search engines like AltaVista actually used it. But it got abused. Fast. People started keyword stuffing, just cramming it full of words to try and game the system. By 2009, Google was over it and just started ignoring it completely. So the lesson here is simple. Focus your energy on writing an amazing title and a description that makes people want to click. Don't waste your time chasing ghosts.
Okay, now for the ambassador that gets to create those really beautiful visual results. We're talking about the one that represents you on social media. So how does that slick preview card actually get made?
It's a really cool and totally automatic process. The second you paste a link, the social media site sends out a tiny robot, a crawler, that visits your page. In just milliseconds, it scans the head of your code and it's looking for one thing, a set of tags from something called the Open Graph Protocol. If it finds them, bam, it uses them to build that beautiful preview card on the spot.
And here's the best part. You really only need 4 of these tags to get the job done. OG title is for your headline. OG type just tells it if it's an article or a general website. OG image points to that all-important picture. And OG URL is just the official address of the page. That's it. That's the basic recipe for a perfect social share.
Now, X, Twitter, is cool. It uses those Open Graph tags by default. But it also gives you its own special card tags if you want a little more control. The big one is Twitter Card. It lets you choose between a small summary or a card with a big, beautiful, wide image. You can also throw in your site's X handle and even pick a totally different image to show only on X. Pretty neat.
And hey, pro tip, if you want that big, gorgeous, high-res image to show up perfectly every time, just burn this number into your brain. 1200 by 630 pixels. That's the sweet spot. It's the recommended size to make sure your image looks sharp and fills the whole card on pretty much every platform.
All right, finally, let's talk about a job for these ambassadors that is incredibly important, but honestly, it gets overlooked way too often. And that's their role in making the web work for everyone.
A lot of these same tags are actually accessibility superstars. That simple lang attribute on your HTML tag, it tells a screen reader what language your page is in so it can pronounce words correctly. The title and description tags give vital context to people using assistive tech, letting them know what a page is about before they navigate to it. There's even an OG image alt tag, so you can provide a text description of your social media image for users who are visually impaired. These aren't just lines of code. They are little acts of inclusion.
But even with the best intentions, the experts don't always agree. A perfect example is the viewport tag, which controls how a site looks on your phone. Some developers argue that you should disable zooming so that the user interface never breaks. But others argue really strongly that you should never do that because accessibility is all about user choice, and people with low vision absolutely depend on being able to zoom in.
And this whole debate just perfectly illustrates a bigger point about building things for the web. So much of it isn't about finding one single quote-unquote right answer. It's about understanding the trade-offs, thinking hard about all your different users, and making thoughtful, informed decisions.
So, when you put this all together, what's the big takeaway? It's that your meta tags and favicons, they're not just some technical detail. They are your website's silent, tireless ambassadors, working for you 24/7 across the entire web.
When you take the time to set them up right, you empower them to go out and create a strong brand identity with your favicon. They improve your discoverability on Google with great titles. They drive clicks and shares with amazing social media cards. And maybe most importantly, they help you create an inclusive, accessible experience for every single person who visits your site. They might be invisible, but their impact is huge. And it kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other invisible code is out there quietly shaping the digital world that we swim in every single day?